Substituted value. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS, is a viral infection in the respiratory system. It is known for causing acute respiratory distress or extreme difficulty breathing. The SARS virus emerged in 2003 and no new cases have been reported since 2004. However, during 2003, a total of 8,098 people were diagnosed with SARS and 774 people died. What is the percentage of people who passed away? So to answer this question, we're going to use the following formula. The number of people died divided by the number of people who had the illness times 100, which will give us the percentage of people who passed away. So let's go over a few things. When we replace the words in the formula with the numbers, it is called substituting a value. And when we're substituting, you must place the numbers in parentheses so that there is no confusion in the future. So let's go back to our problem and see how we do this. So we have the number of people who died, which was 774, divided by the number of people who had the illness. So that is 8,098 times 100 to give us the percentage of people who passed away. And since we are not using calculators in this modular as much, we are going to actually just round. So 774 people could be rounded to the nearest hundreds, which would be 800, because we're looking at that 7. So we have 800 here. And we're going to divide actually by the nearest thousands for this number. So here we have the thousands, we're looking at the 0, and you can see we're rounding down. And then we're going to multiply by 100 to give us the percentage. So now that we have 800 and 8,000, we are going to first divide this number here. So we have 800 divided by 8,000. And then we're going to multiply by 100. So one of the things that we could actually do to make life a little bit easier for us is we're going to factor actually. So this 800 can be broken down right into 8 times 100, and then this 100 can be broken down into 10 and 10. We'll just kind of leave it there, as 8,000 can be done very similarly. So 8,000 can be broken down into 8 times 1,000, which gives us 8,000, and then 1,000 can be broken down into 10, and then 100, because 10 times 100 equals 1,000, and then this 100 goes broken down into that. So the reason why we're just going to leave it there is because we're going to be able to actually cross out a lot when we start dividing. So when we divide, we have 800, which is going to be now these 3 factors. And then we have 8,000, which is 8 times 10 times 10 times 10. And then we're going to multiply by 100, which 100 could be broken down into 10 times 10. So for this, when we first do division, we're going to actually cross out 1 10 on the top and 1 10 on the bottom. And we can do this again, because anytime you multiply, so anytime you divide by the same number, it is equal to 1. So we're also going to cross out this 8, make it a 1, cross out this 8, make it a 1. So now we're left with, all of this becomes 1 over 10, and we're going to still multiply it by 100, but we're going to keep it in this factor form of 10 times 10. As you can see, we can cross out that 10 here, cross out that 10 there, as we cross multiply, and that's something we can do as 10 over 10 is equal to 1. So now we're just actually left with 10, which is our final answer of 10% of the people had passed away from this illness. So let's go to another example It's a little bit easier as we're not dealing with bigger numbers. So we're going to evaluate negative x squared minus 2x minus 6 when x is equal to negative 2. So when we have negative 2, we're going to plug it in anytime we see an x. So we have minus parentheses minus 2 squared minus 2, and then we'll put in parentheses negative 2 minus 6. The first thing we'll deal with, as remember, is parentheses. And we can see that we have parentheses, but there isn't as much to do inside the parentheses. So we don't actually have to do anything inside of parentheses to make it smaller or reduce it to its simpler form. So the next thing we'll do is exponents. So now we have negative 2 squared. So we have minus, and really exponents could just be written out like this. And then we're going to keep everything else written out. So to deal with the exponents, we're going to multiply negative 2 times negative 2, which is equal to positive 4. And then we have that negative sign out in the front. So it's actually going to stay negative 4. Then, as we dealt with the exponents, we're now going to do multiplication and divide. So as we go left to right, we can see that this is a multiplication. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then we have minus 6. So dealt with that step, and now we have add and subtract. So as we move left to right, we have negative 4 plus 4. And that will just cancel each other out, so that equals 0. And then we have minus 6. So we are actually just left with minus 6 as our final answer.